G-Spur Gang, it is abhorrently clear that I enjoy roguelike deck builders way too much. But what about roguelite deck builders? You know, what about the ones that, the run keeps on going, the run never ends, the fun never stops? Also, I really enjoy the Runeterra universe in League of Legends, so we're gonna go back right to our, well, maybe not to our roots, but we're gonna go back to a familiar card game, at least for me, Legends of Runeterra. Now, this game has been around for a while, and then about a year or two afterwards, they came out with Path of Champions officially, and I've been playing Path of Champions again back on my Overstock channel and on my Twitch just through streaming, and it's been really fun. And apparently the community is starved for attention, so here you go. Hello, all of you Legacy Legends of Runeterra Path of Champions players. Please don't pick on me too bad. I'm doing my best. I have not played this game in a while, but I used to frequent it sometimes. So I'll do my best to make this video as concise, make it seem like I'm as knowledgeable as possible. I just recorded for 40 minutes already reading this entire script out and doing this entire video just to realize that I was not recording this microphone, because why would I? So fingers crossed this is the one, right? But you already know where this video is going to go, so let's get this show on the road, shall we? And I originally decided on this concept about a week ago when I was originally scripting for this video, and then realized there was just too much to talk about to do it in 2 days. So I needed a filler, and you'll slowly realize why I needed a filler episode for last week. So let's get into it. Welcome to Legends of Runeterra, specifically Path of Champions. Now, back in the day when Path of Champions wasn't around, there was also labs. Well, there wasn't labs right at the beginning, but still before Path of Champions there was labs, and in labs there was a short little campaign style thing. It had one campaign, set number of champions, and what happens at each node, but there were 8 champions to choose from, and they played all completely differently. And this was kind of the basis of the Path of Champions we know and love, except it was completely different. But Legends of Runeterra started out like most original card games with just the concept of opening packs. In this instance it's virtually, but ripping packs and building up decks, theory crafting some stuff, and playing against your friends and other people in the world, I guess. In this case it's a lot easier to do it in the world because it's completely online. But recently Project K has been dubbed Riftbound, and Riftbound is a real life, you go purchase real cardboard with real life money, and it's set to release later this year in North America, which is kind of cool. 300 plus cards in set 1, 40 champions that we know and love, but probably mostly hate unless you like the one character here. This isn't really a plug, just more of a transfer of knowledge in case you're interested. While I was writing the script for this, I remembered, in the back of my brain I had a little neuron activate and be like, wait, wasn't there going to be a real life card game for this or something along those lines? And yeah, I was right. And I thought it already came out, but I didn't really see any news about it. Apparently it's out in some other Asian countries, but set 1 will officially drop this year. Set 2 is apparently also ready to go. Set 3 has also been announced that it's, in development. But if you're interested in looking at some of the cards, what the gimmicks are, because it's not exactly like a one-to-one copy of Legends of Runeterra to a real life playing field. They have all of the stuff that is currently available or will be soon available for set 1 on riftbound.leagueoflegends.com. But I kind of just wanted to let you know in case you were interested. Anyway, let's get back on track. I'm here to talk to you about a video game, not stupid real life cardboard that chafes my skin. Get away. I'm going to put my hand in my pocket. So, Path of Champions. Is it good? Is it not good? Do I like it? Do I not like it? Let's, define some categories and really get into the nitty-gritties. Just divide some stuff into pros and cons and see what we can discern from this activity. So, category 1 is going to be the champion pool. There's 71 champions to choose from with unique decks, unique focuses, and combo styles and stuff like that. Category 2 is the champion leveling system. Category 3 is the large variety of adventures, and then also the difficulty of said adventures. They were originally going to be 2 separate ones, but I figured, they kind of just meld together if I talk about them in the same kind of category. And then finally we have weekly and monthly missions. I was going to write down a 5th one just to kind of, round out the board, but I feel like they would just kind of blend into everything, and hopefully we'll have a pretty alright blend of the categories that I've laid out now, and they're kind of gonna dip into each different category as we go, so who cares? I just like labeling stuff sometimes. So 71 champions. How could this possibly be bad? Well, stay with me, and if you play Path of Champions you probably already know, but 71 is an immense number. To have that many unique decks, I mean, think if there were 71 different characters in Slay the Spire. That would be insane. Granted, this is not a one-to-one comparison, but there's a lot. This is obviously a huge pro because it allows for a lot of of replayability, and the replayability is going to be kind of a key factor into what I deem pro and con. Well, mostly pro. The pros are going to be the replayability. It's going to be kind of everywhere. But it really allows you and other players to get your hands deep and dirty and full of gunk of the different, sands of the regions that Runeterra offers, including Runeterra, Ionia, Bilgewater, Noxus, and all the other ones. Who cares? But maybe you like the scummy, ratty playstyle of Bilgewater, where you just kind of throw out some cheap shit, take cheap shots, have some last breath effects that just do damage, and really just play aggressive, quick decks that end battles pretty quickly. Maybe you like the more techie themes of Ionia, stunning enemies, recalling allies, recalling enemies, strategically striking said enemies and stuff. Or maybe you're masochistic and like killing your own units and, playing around with your own tools and your own stuff on your bench in your hand and playing around with your Nexus health as a resource. Shadow Wild's going to be right up your alley. Also, that last breath keyword is going to be fantastic. You're going to love it. I mean, it's just begging for your units to be killed off, right? And who better to do it than your own units, right? Now, before you had to look up builds and ideal cards to run with specific champions, how to do synergies, unless you kind of just had it in your head and you're like, yeah, I know what's going on here. Let me handle this. Now with Path of Champions, you just pick up a Jinx. Maybe you don't know what to do with it, right? You're just looking at it and you're like, yep, this card is a card. I want to use it, and I'll figure out, it's in the Piltover and Zaun universe. So we'll just pick up some cards from there, just kind of keep it, unified, and then maybe throw in a couple of discard cards and we're good to go. Whereas now we get Path of Champions, which gives you Jinx. You get a deck, and then you get pushed into the fray, and you're like, yeah, go have fun. This is the deck you get, and as you play it, you get leveled up, which we'll get into later. You'll get better upgrades for your deck, and, your deck will become better as you play it. I personally love the lurk keyword, and I remember when Rek'Sai and Pike first came out, I really got myself familiar with this kind of play style. I built myself a Pike Rek'Sai deck with just as many lurker cards as I could get my hand on, but I kind of can't stand my own against actual people online, because people online, PvPs, they like getting into the meta stuff. They like really tearing you down and just making you feel like you're just being an ass. Or I guess you're making an ass out of yourself, however you want to say it. Long story short, I don't like the way other people online make me feel in card games. It's not good. It's not a fun experience for me. I just like the offline aspects. But I found out recently, upon revisiting and relapsing in my addiction of this game, I found out that they have a Pike specific deck. So I unlocked it with the resources that I had lying around from the last time I played this game like 2 years ago. And I pumped him full of as many resources as I could and took him out to the adventures and had my way with him. But he's my highest level deck, and I think I'm going to leave it at that. I would love to say more about this Pike and this deck, and I really like playing this deck. That's all I really like playing this deck. But that's just one of 71 champions, Each champion has their own level system. So if you get a new champion, you get to start at 0. If you end up purchasing a champion with a bunch of saved up, fragments, and you end up not liking them, that really sucks, man. You have them. I mean, that's it. Too bad, so sad. You used all those resources and now they're yours. The main issue I have with having this many champions is just you don't really get to choose who you get next unless you use your wild fragments. If you want to unlock them naturally, there's like a 1.4% chance that if you open a vault with shards in it, it's going to be the champion that you want. And even if you do, you get lucky, you get like 5 or 10 shards. So you've got a lot more to go. And that's why I didn't wait for Pike and I just bought him with my wild fragments. And then another negative I have is just that having to do the entire leveling system over again, starting off with the 0-star mission, going up to the 1-star, going up to the 1.5 and the 2 and the 2.5 and everything like that. But the game kind of helps you along with this, and then, your legacy account level does go up as you play and play other characters and complete other missions that help you along. So it's not like every time you're getting a new champion, you're starting completely over, but sometimes it does feel that way. Which sort of brings us to our second category, the champion leveling system. Each champion can level up to like level 50, and at each level they get a specific, unique upgrade. Well, almost unique. Every single upgrade is pretty much across the board for every character the same. There's little nuances in that most starting cards in those decks will get little items to help them out and help them perform better with the synergies that are going on in your deck. This sounds great, right? The more you play a champion's deck, the higher level it gets, the better it gets, and the more you can use it in the late game. That's fantastic. And that's not sarcastic. That truly is a pro of having, you know, champion leveling systems. And once you get to like level 15, you know, you can really start, you know, feeling your groove and getting in there. He has such a way with words. This did originally kind of feel like the pros were completely overshadowed by the cons, in the fact that if you start over with a new character, you have to do it all over again, which, yeah, it just takes time. But the only thing is that it takes time. So really, how bad can it be? Apart from having to do all of the stupid little low-level missions again, and the Ezreal mission, I hate Ezreal. This is my least favorite mission to do. Oh yeah, are you stuck with a deck who does not do great against low pop shot damage from Ezreal, perchance? Are you a more late game focused deck champion something? Do you have something that costs high? Do you have something that, oh, if it got recalled and put back into your hand, you would be at such an incredible deficit? That really sucks for you. Also, you have to be not too fast to where you pull out of your cards in the first 5 turns, and then you are playing each card that you get drawn every turn, if that makes any dang sense. What I'm trying to say is that you can't play these decks too fast or too slow on these adventures, and if your deck just naturally is super fast, you're going to be at a detriment to a lot of these adventures. If your deck is too slow, you're going to be at a detriment to a lot of these adventures. But that's really my only gripe. There is an okay amount of adventures to choose from, and then with the rotating weekly missions that you can do, which we'll get into in a bit, there's always a mission that you can do to level up your character, your deck, and get yourself geared up towards taking down higher level adventures. Also, each champion has a constellation group of upgrades, which is upgrades specific to those champions and those decks that offer them specific boosts. And you typically use wild fragments for a lot of these upgrades, but on the champions that can go up to 6 stars, there is another tab of upgrades that you can choose from that need the specific champion's shards for. So good luck fully maxing their level. You're going to be here for a while. I mean, obviously it's been done. Obviously it's designed to happen at some point. It just takes a lot of time, which truly the overall con I'm finding of Path of Champions is that it just takes so much more time than I would rather, or prefer, I should say. I don't know why I used rather. It just, the game takes a long time to make a good amount of progression, or like an amount of progression that you're satisfied with, right? Because there's always something to do. There's always something that you'd want to do. And once you get to a certain point, you know, you've unlocked a good amount of champions. You're just doing the monthly missions or the monthly challenge, and that's kind of where you're at until a new mission comes out, which again, we'll get to in a bit. I'm jumping the gun here. But since we're on the topic of adventures, let's talk about our third category, adventure variety. As I said, the variety is okay. I kind of wish there was a little bit more to choose from. I wish there were just, you know, more champions, because if you have a deck that plays too slow or too fast or not just right, it kind of just feels bad. But where do you start taking adventures? You know, I just unlocked Jin. Let's see what he does, right? Well, a lot of these champions have their own campaign or their own little stories that you can follow. They give you a 0-star mission to do right away, kind of gets you in the groove of your champion and gets them their first couple of levels. Then this sets the tone. They have 3 missions usually that are like story missions. There's a little bit of dialogue between your character and then the characters that you meet along these journeys. But once you do that original mission, you got to just level up your character and gear up for the second level, or the second story adventure. And at this point, I don't think I've done a 3rd level story mission. I'm not high enough level or have unlocked enough or as far into the campaign as I should be to unlock those final story missions. So I can't tell you what happens when you finish a story. That's beyond me. Maybe you get like a pat on the back, or oh, maybe you get star fragments for those champions. Maybe that helps. But no, I've really just been focusing on leveling up the decks that I have and playing more. I'm just kind of doing some time sinks rather than doing anything in particular. But I'm also kind of at a wall right now where I need to complete the chapter 4 missions of the adventure that I'm doing, which is beating like 4 2.5 star rated missions, which I don't think I can do right now. I'm doing my damnedest right now, and it's just, I do have a high level pike. I do have like a couple of 3-star decks, but I don't know, I might be stupid. And this segues us really nicely into the next category, or like half category, where I was talking about the adventure levels. Also, I did find out there's 3 different actual campaigns. The normal campaign is what you see, or what you've been seeing. You know, you see the map, there's a bunch of nodes on the map, and then you unlock more nodes on the map the more you play, and the more nodes that you complete and all that good stuff. And this is the world adventure. This is the overarching main way to play the game, whatever. Once you've played this enough, you eventually unlock the Rogue campaign or something. It has Rogue in the title. You had me at Rogue. I'm really enticed by the word Rogue, and I'm hoping that it's more of like a you hop into the mission with nothing, no idea of what's coming, and then you just kind of pick cards, pick champions, you know, kind of stuff like that. Build your own deck as you go, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see. I'm really interested to see where this goes. If I do end up playing enough where I unlock this, I would absolutely love to do a video on this just to kind of show it off, but we'll see what happens. And then the final campaign thing is Nightmare Mode. I'm guessing it's just the basic world mission, except more difficult. And it's got twists and turns and little whoop-de-doos to make it be like, oh, I wasn't as good at this game as I thought I was. But hey, you mentioned weekly and monthly missions a while ago. Let's talk about those, shall we? Oh yeah, you know we love talking about weekly and monthly missions. This is our 5th category. Weekly missions are super easy, super simple, just to at least understand. There's 3 of them. One is a 1.5 rating, one is a 2.5 star rating, the other is a 3-star rating. And respectively, I believe these 2 give you champion shards, and then this one gives you a relic, and relics are stuff that you can put onto your champion. It gives them an item, you know, more damage, keywords, special effects when they're played or done anything. These are one-time rewards, so you do it once and then you wait for the next weeks to refresh and you get more rewards. Otherwise, if you think you have a deck that would be really good to go up against these, you can grind some XP off of them pretty easily. I think it's like, given the length of it and the rating of it, you probably get like 1,000 XP towards the 1.5 at least. So that's a good amount of XP. And they offer special little powers and champions to go up against, so it's pretty good. And then the monthly challenge is where you have your like legacy progress. Like this is kind of end game or keeping players alive, right? This is how you keep replayability around. So there's 70 total missions in this monthly set of challenges. And after every 5th challenge completed, you get a reward. So after the first 5 challenges, you get 10 wild fragments. A whopping 10 wild fragments. Can you believe it? 10 wild fragments. Can you believe it? I can't. It's almost too good to be true. I also hear you can get Aurelian Soul shards this way. So if you're interested in Aurelian Soul, he's an option. Also, in order to get to the 70th challenge, you're going to want to make sure that you have a lot of leveled up and star rated up decks, because each one of these only gets 3 attempts. That's attempts, not even successes. So maybe you want to ditch all of your lower leveled decks against the super early missions and then keep your stronger ones for later. But, you know, you can only go so far and hope you don't get unlucky. Now, overall, I think I've played 10 to 15 hours of Legends of Runeterra Path of Champions specifically in the last like week and a half, 2 weeks. And overall, it is fun. The only outstanding negative I have about this game is that it just takes time to get what I want, which is, you know, I've already talked about it. I've already hit pretty much every single spot where this is like, yeah, this isn't favorable. I don't want to be playing Legends of Runeterra for the rest of my life just to, you know, unlock everything. And I'm not. I'm probably not even going to be playing Legends of Runeterra 2 months from now, but who knows? I like to boot it up every once in a while and just, you know, play some cards. So until the next thing comes around, until the next time I want to sink in a bunch of hours, actually until Slay the Spire 2 comes out. We'll talk to you next time about card games when Slay the Spire 2 comes out. Hopefully, I'll probably find another game in between then, because we don't know when the actual release date of it is. This is the outro, actually. I'm done talking. I'm done. No more Legends of Runeterra talk. I've been streaming this over on my Twitch and on my second channel on YouTube. Weekly videos going up on Wednesday over on the Overstock as well, so feel free to stop by, say hello. Also, it's not just Legends of Runeterra, it's kind of whatever I'm feeling. Also, Logan and I are going through a Pokemon Nuzlocke Soul Link playthrough, so that's fun. I think that's it. I think that's all I got to plug, so thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time.